What if I told you that airlines for decades have been masters of a single brilliant magic trick, a trick of language? They've spent billions of dollars on marketing and training to convince you, the traveler, that help is a perk, that assistance is a favor, and that comfort is an upgrade. What if I told you that's a lie? A carefully constructed lie designed to do one thing: protect their profit margins. Because if you're over 60 or traveling with anyone who is, you have access to a set of federally protected rights, not perks, not favors, rights. We've all come to accept that flying is an ordeal, a test of endurance. You drag your luggage through terminals that feel like small cities. You stand in endless snaking lines, your back aching. You get nickel and dime for everything: a checked bag, a few inches of legroom, a bottle of water. The entire system is designed to make you feel small, processed, and grateful for any tiny kindness. But the truth is, many of those kindnesses are not kindness at all. They are the law. The Air Carrier Access Act, or ACA, is a powerful piece of federal legislation. It's your personal rulebook for air travel, and it contains guarantees that airlines are legally required to provide. But here's the catch, the one they bank on: they don't have to offer them, you have to ask. And you have to ask in a way that shows you know the rules. They are counting on you not knowing. They are hoping you'll be too polite, too intimidated, or too tired to stand your ground. Most people step into an airport and immediately surrender their power because they do not understand the rules of the game. When you walk up to that counter, the agents are reading one thing. They are looking to see if you are in control or if you are uncertain. Every hesitation, every shaky breath, and every rambling explanation sends a clear signal that you can be pushed aside, ignored, or given the runaround. But calm confidence is your real passport before the passport. To command this environment, you have to completely eliminate polite, passive questions from your vocabulary. You never ask if it is possible to get help, and you never wait for them to offer a solution out of the goodness of their corporate hearts. Instead, you use the legal trigger phrase, "I require." This single linguistic shift completely changes the dynamic because it tells the airline that you are operating under a legal framework, not begging for a customer service favor. However, before we break down the specific playbook, we have to look directly at a hard truth that almost nobody wants to discuss honestly. Turning 60 or 65 is a major milestone, but the federal law is not a general senior welfare handout. The Air Carrier Access Act is strictly rooted in accommodating physical limitations, mobility impairments, or medical conditions. A perfectly healthy 62-year-old cannot just wave an ID card and demand an upgrade simply because of their birth year. But here is the reality of aging. Time brings physical challenges like severe arthritis, joint pain, balance issues, or heightened travel anxiety. When age creates those physical boundaries, the federal law shifts entirely into your corner. Unfortunately, this legal protection has created a massive wave of deceptive, able-bodied passengers who actively abuse the system. We see it on almost every flight. The infamous jetway miracle, where people demand wheelchairs to skip the lines and board the plane first, only to magically sprint off the aircraft unassisted upon arrival. This systemic abuse is infuriating because it actively boxes out the individuals who legitimately cannot walk and desperately need the assistance. Knowing the rules is about demanding dignity, not cheating the system. The very first hidden right inside the playbook revolves around the ticketing system itself, specifically hidden senior fares for passengers aged 65 and older. Major domestic carriers like United, Delta, and American still maintain fixed-rate senior discounts buried deep inside their pricing architecture. The airlines actively hide these options because modern aviation profits are entirely driven by dynamic pricing algorithms. These algorithms track your cookies, search history, and demand spikes to jack up ticket prices. A fixed senior discount completely disrupts that profit loop, so they have systematically scrubbed any mention of them from their public websites. You can search Google Flights, Expedia, or Kayak for days, and you will never see a senior option pop up, making it look like a completely dead benefit. To claim this right, you must bypass the internet completely. You have to pick up the phone and call the carrier's reservation line directly. When you get a live agent, you use a precise script. "Can you please check for a senior fare for a passenger over 65 on this route?" This forces the telephone operator to step outside the standard web algorithm and open up legacy fare buckets that are completely shielded from the public eye. Once you have your ticket, the next major hurdle is surviving the chaos of the security checkpoint, which is where your second major right comes into play through a completely free federal program called TSA Cares. The security checkpoint is an environment specifically engineered to induce stress. The lines, the shouting, the confusing instructions, laptops out, shoes off. For an older traveler, this environment can cause severe panic or physical exhaustion. To solve this, the Transportation Security Administration is legally mandated to provide a dedicated passenger support specialist to physically escort you through the checkpoint when requested. Airlines and airport authorities do not advertise this service because it strains their limited operational staffing. The reality of the standard security experience can feel deeply intrusive. You are essentially being felt up by strangers under the guise of public safety, which is frankly outrageous. Using this federal program completely changes that dynamic by placing an official advocate by your side. You must trigger this protection by calling the TSA Cares helpline at least 72 hours before your flight. No complex medical forms or doctor notes are required. You give them your flight details and state, I am traveling on this flight, and I require a passenger support specialist at the checkpoint due to my mobility and anxiety issues. Your third right addresses the physical pain of the actual airplane cabin by guaranteeing free accommodation seating. Airlines have turned seat selection into a massive cash cow, labeling standard bulkhead rows or front row aisle seats as Premium Estate or Economy Plus, charging up to $80 extra just for a few inches of extra legroom or easier access. But under the law, if a passenger has a legitimate medical or mobility need, such as a fused knee that cannot bend, severe spinal arthritis, or a condition requiring immediate proximity to the restroom, the airline is required to waive those seat selection fees completely. They hope you will just pay the fee out of fear of being crammed into a tiny middle seat in the back of the plane. To claim this accommodation, you must call the airline's special assistance desk before the flight or approach the gate agent early. You do not ask for an upgrade. You state, I require a bulkhead or accessible aisle seat due to a physical limitation, and I need this processed as a reasonable accommodation under the Air Carrier Access Act. This protection extends directly into your fourth right, which guarantees free adjacent seating for personal care attendants. The modern airline booking software is intentionally designed to separate traveling companions to pressure them into paying extra fees to sit together. But if you are an older traveler who requires physical assistance, help with medication or cognitive support during a flight, and you are traveling with a spouse, family member, or professional attendant, the airline is legally mandated to seat that person directly next to you. They are prohibited from charging a seat selection fee for this placement. This is not a loophole for couples who just want to chat during the flight. It is a strict medical necessity. When the online system splits your seats, you must call the airline or see the gate agent and use the script, I am traveling with a personal care attendant who assists me with my medical needs. And we must be seated in adjacent seats as a required federal accommodation under the ACA. The fifth right is the ultimate logistical shield, known as the Meet and Assist Guided Airport Concierge. The airline is legally bound to provide a continuous, seamless personal escort from the exact moment you check your bags at the ticket counter, through the security gates, all the way down the jetway to your specific airplane seat. When you land, a matching escort must be waiting at the aircraft door to guide you through baggage claim all the way to the arrival curb. Airlines deliberately obscure this service because it relies on third-party contractors, and the airline is directly billed for every single passenger who utilizes it. They want to save that money, but the service is yours by law if you select the special assistance link during booking or state at the counter, I need guided assistance due to a mobility impairment. Knowing these first 5 rights gives you the foundation to navigate the terminal. But the real test comes when your equipment is on the line, when your family is separated at the security line, or when a stressed employee looks you in the eye and tells you no. That is where the second half of the playbook becomes your ultimate weapon. Now let us step directly into the second half of the playbook, because once you have mastered the terminal and secured your seating, you enter the real operational battleground where your equipment, your family, and your basic safety are put to the test. The airline industry is fully aware that navigating a modern airport is a psychological war of attrition, and they design their policies to make you surrender your boundaries out of sheer exhaustion. But when you understand the hidden mechanisms of the law, you stop moving like a processed commodity, and you start moving with real tactical authority. The sixth major right inside your playbook completely dismantles the post-9/11 terminal wall by guaranteeing the security gate pass for non-traveling family members. The modern airport environment is designed to cut you off from your support system the exact second you reach the security checkpoint, forcing older travelers to navigate massive, confusing concourses completely isolated and alone. This separation induces a massive amount of unneeded cognitive friction and panic, which is exactly how the system keeps you compliant and moving slowly. But the law allows a non-traveling adult to accompany an older passenger all the way through the TSA checkpoint and wait with them directly at the departure gate until the aircraft door is physically shut. The airlines completely hide this option because airport authorities want to minimize the volume of human bodies inside the secure gates to reduce the operational strain on checkpoints. To claim this protection, both the traveler and the family member must go directly to the main check-in desk together well before departure. The non-traveling assistant must present a valid government-issued photo ID, and you use the precise script, I am providing necessary physical and cognitive assistance to this passenger for their flight, and I request a gate escort pass under the carrier accessibility policy. This forces the ticket agent to print an official pass that grants full legal access through the security lines without a ticket. Your seventh right is a massive financial and logistical shield that completely exempts medical equipment luggage from baggage fees and carry-on limits. Airlines pull in billions of dollars globally by weaponizing baggage scales, charging outrageous fees for every single extra inch of canvas you try to bring past the counter. They look at an older traveler carrying extra bags for health gear and they see a prime target for a penalty charge. But under federal law, any bag that contains strictly medical equipment, CPAP machines, portable oxygen concentrators, nebulizers, or life-essential medications flies entirely for free. These items can never be counted against your standard 2-bag carry-on limit or your checked luggage allowance. However, you must be extremely disciplined here because if you slip a pair of casual shoes, a novel, or a souvenir into your dedicated medical bag, you instantly forfeit the legal exemption, and the airline has every right to hit you with full penalty fees. Pack your health gear in its own separate, dedicated case. When you approach the counter, you state firmly, "I am carrying on an assistive medical device that is completely exempt from baggage limits and fees under federal law." If an undertrained agent demands to see a doctor's physical prescription, you stand your ground and remind them that under the rules, a visual inspection of the device is all that is legally permitted and demanding prescriptions at the counter is prohibited. This leads directly into your 8th right, which establishes the modified TSA screening guidelines for passengers who have reached the age of 75. The standard security screening is a physical hazard for seniors, forcing you to balance on one foot on cold terminal tiles to strip off your shoes while a rushed line of people breathes down your neck. If you have metal joint replacements, pacemakers, or artificial hips, you are automatically flagged for invasive and deeply uncomfortable physical pat-downs. But the federal framework dictates that the moment you hit 75, you are legally entitled to keep your shoes on, and you are permitted to keep a light jacket or outerwear on during the security scan. Furthermore, if your medical implants require a mandatory physical pat-down, you have the absolute right to demand a chair. You do not have to stand there unbalanced and exposed on the terminal floor. If a rushed agent starts barking orders to strip off your outerwear, you stop them and use the script. "I am 75 and under federal guidelines I qualify for modified screening with my shoes and jacket on, and if a pat-down is required, I require a chair to remain stable during this process." The 9th right is your ultimate weapon at the departure lounge, known as absolute pre-boarding priority. Go to any airport gate and you will see the phenomenon of gate lice, a sea of anxious, aggressive travelers who crowd the boarding lanes hours before their group is called, physically blocking the pathways and creating an environment of intense stress. The airlines encourage this chaotic scramble because it forces people to buy premium status just to get on the plane early. But the law completely overrules their corporate boarding tiers. Any passenger who self-identifies as needing extra time or physical assistance due to a mobility, balance, or health limitation must be allowed down the jetway before everyone else. It does not matter if someone has Diamond Elite status, a first-class ticket, or military priority. The federal law mandates that you go first so you can secure your overhead bin space and get settled in your seat with complete dignity before the frantic crowd rushes the cabin. You walk up to the gate desk 30 minutes before boarding begins. Look the agent in the eye and say, "I am requesting pre-boarding as I require additional time to safely navigate the jetway and get settled." If they hesitate or try to tell you to wait for your assigned group, you drop the legal hammer. "Is this a reasonable accommodation you are unable to honor under the Air Carrier Access Act?" Your 10th right provides emergency air coverage through priority manual rebooking during massive system crashes. When weather hits or a tech outage collapses the flight schedule, thousands of passengers are instantly stranded. And the airline's automated systems scramble to rebook people using cold, algorithmic priority that favors high-paying business travelers. Sitting on a hard terminal floor for 14 hours is an inconvenience for a young backpacker, but it is a legitimate health emergency for an older traveler who requires regular medication, stable meals, and proper rest. Because of this, the airline's internal software is designed to flag accounts that have pre-registered special assistance markers, prioritizing those individuals for manual human intervention ahead of the general public. But you must understand a massive limitation here. These exact rules are United States federal statutes. If you are flying on a domestic route, you are fully armed. But if you step onto a foreign carrier outside of U.S. jurisdiction, these specific domestic laws completely lose their teeth, and you must rely on local frameworks like Europe's EU 261 rules. When a flight is canceled domestically, you bypass the regular phone lines, go straight to the customer service desk or the airport lounge, and state, "I am a passenger with pre-registered mobility and medical needs. This cancellation is creating an immediate physical hardship, and I require priority manual rebooking and immediate information on my hotel and meal vouchers." Now, knowing these 10 rights is completely useless if you do not know how to enforce them when a stressed, aggressive, undertrained airline employee tells you no straight to your face. When the system pushes back, you do not argue, you do not yell, and you do not fill out a useless feedback form on the airline website that just gets routed to a marketing robot. Instead, you deploy your first nuclear option. You demand a CRO, a complaint resolution official. Every single airline operating on United States soil is legally required to have a CRO available at the airport, either in person or via an immediate phone link, during all hours of operation. A CRO is not a regular supervisor. They are a specialized management official trained thoroughly in federal aviation discrimination and accessibility law, and they possess the legal authority to overrule gate agents and ticket counters on the spot. If an agent denies your accommodation, you look them in the eye and use the magic words, "You are denying me a reasonable accommodation under the Air Carrier Access Act, and I demand that you contact your complaint resolution official right now." This acronym acts as an immediate corporate panic button that forces them to escalate your issue to someone who actually understands the legal consequences of noncompliance. If the airport staff completely fails you in the moment, you deploy your second nuclear option after the flight by filing an official DOT complaint. You do not tweet at the airline, you go directly to the search engine and look for the Department of Transportation Air Travel Complaint Form. This is an official federal web portal that completely bypasses airline customer service. When you file a case here, the U.S. government logs it onto the airline's permanent federal record, which directly impacts their operating data, and the carrier is legally mandated by federal law to investigate the incident and issue a formal response to you in writing within 60 days. In your text box, you strip away all emotional language and write short, clear, steady sentences on this date, on this flight number. The carrier failed to provide a reasonable accommodation under the Air Carrier Access Act. I explicitly requested service under the law and was denied, causing me physical distress and harm. This guarantees your file is read by an elite legal compliance team instead of a regular service agent. This playbook is not about finding slick loopholes, and it is certainly not about gaming the system. This is about leveling a multi-billion-dollar playing field that has been intentionally tilted against you. It is about traveling with confidence, with dignity, and with the absolute certainty that the federal law is standing directly behind you. The airlines have built a massive empire on the hope that you will never take the time to open the rulebook, but now you are the one holding it. Save this information, share it with a friend, a parent, or any family member who needs to hear it before their next travel day. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell me down below, have you ever had to stand your ground against an airline counter? I would honestly love to know. Safe journeys, traveler. Confidence is your clearance.